Welcome to Marriage Without Tears. My name is Felix Okeke. I am your marriage counselor and coach. Today's topic is very, very important. It says marriage advice for newly married couples. Marriage advice for newly married couples. I have discovered over a period of time that each time I attend a wedding, I find the ministers, I find the pastors, I find some of the marriage counselors trying to provide solutions or effective ways of running marriages. But because of the excitement, the nature of the wedding, the excitement galore, because of the noise level, because they are running short of time, they never actually take out time to render in full what a couple should do. You know, not just that the newly wedded couples are listening, the audience are also listening, but they never actually get to grasp what the whole thing is all about. And that is why we decided to make a video such as this. So this video is more of a video you must refer to from time to time to bring out some of the nuggets, some of the things you must add to your marriage to make your marriage more productive and successful. So I welcome you to this very particular edition. What are the newly married couple, or even the couple that have lasted in marriage for a very long time? What must you do if your marriage must stand the test of time? That is what we are discussing today. And if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please do so immediately. There's the red button by my side. Click on it and get subscribed and be part of this wonderful journey. The first thing you must do if you are getting married today, or if you have been married in the past year, or 5 years or 10 years down the line, one of the things you must do is that you must burn away every exit point out of your marriage. Whatever may cause your marriage to fail, whatever may become an infringement into the joy of your marriage, you must cut it away from day one. And I will give you instances. If you are married today, if you are signing the dotted line today, I want you to know that from this moment, you are no longer a single person. You are now married. Therefore, whatever may constitute your old habits, your old way of doing things, the way you wake up in the morning, the places you go to, the parties you attend, all manner of ceremonies you used to go as a single person, it will no longer be the same, because another person has come into your life that must be carried along. Decisions now does no longer depend on you only. It must be, it must be a decision that must be entered between both of you. Therefore, your old habits must change. I want you to do an internal audit right now. Some of the things you used to do and enjoy, just begin to check whether your partner enjoys the same, because it ought to change from now henceforth. The second thing that you must also cut away is the apron strings of your parents and siblings. Some of the, over the years, you have been depending on them for counsel, for advice in all manner of physical, mental, and spiritual things. You depend on them. But right now that you are getting married, it's no longer about them. Because even if you are having squabbles or conflicts with your spouse, your parents are not the right not the right people to consult. Your siblings are not the right people to consult. As a matter of fact, it is now between you and your spouse. So if there be any way you have been depending on them, even for those who depend on their parents for financial upkeep, it ought not to be so from now henceforth. You don't depend. You begin to depend on one another, or between your wife or your husband. You begin to depend on one another, no longer about parents. So cut away from such apron strings, even from now henceforth. These are things you must do. And of course, what's the other one you must cut away? You must cut away from your old friends. Your old friends, especially those who don't pay much attention to marriage, who don't value marriage, those ones who don't intend to get married and who are not even interested in getting married. You must begin to draw away from them. If you don't do so, and you begin to hobnob with them as you used to, fellowshipping with them actually will draw you backwards. It will infringe on your marriage. It will do serious damage to your marriage, because you are no longer on the same terrain. Therefore, you must learn to, tactfully withdraw from their friendship. Tactfully withdraw from them. If you are a woman and you are married and you are still keeping friendship with singles, with people who are single, then you are doing a great disservice to your union. Because you are not going to learn something good from them. That kind of involvement will draw your marital values. Right? It will draw you back in marriage. So learn to cut away from such things. Everything that may bring your marriage down, begin to cut away from them right now. That is the very first step you must take if you are getting married right now. The second thing you must also know is that marriage is a commitment. A commitment to cover one another's nakedness at all times. So your spouse's weakness and his frustrations is no longer a food for the public domain. It's something you must keep to heart and begin to work it out in your secret places. So whether by prayer or whatever, so it's a place where you cover one another's nakedness. Marriage is also a commitment to openness. A commitment to openness. So there is no secret between both of you. If there be any secret you have kept over the years, please open up, because it will be detrimental to your marriage if your husband or your wife should wake up one day and discover that there's something you have kept from him over the years. It can destroy the best of marriages. So open up and speak out, so that, and it means you will enter this union with joyfulness and with openness. Marriage is also a commitment to faithfulness. Even after you have signed the dotted lines today, I can tell you that over a period of time, potentially better suitors or people who you think are better than your spouse will always come your way. Better women, better men, they will always come your way. But the capacity to keep them at bay while working tenaciously to keep the glory of your marriage is what makes the difference between a successful and a doomed marriage. So very, very important indeed. A life of faithfulness to the vow which you have made today is very, very important indeed. Marriage is also a commitment to add value consistently to one another's lives. I have seen so many married couples that from the day they got married, instead of getting better, they kept going down in value. They kept getting worse. It is out of place. The moment you get married, the Bible says two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. So your coming together in marriage is meant to add value to both of you as individuals and of course to both of you as couple. Whatever you can do to add value to your spouse, please do it. You are committed to that. Very, very important indeed. So marriage to me is more of a commitment. It's just a commitment. Sometimes I think that marriage is more of a commitment than love. It's a subject for another day. But I want you as a married couple to look at your marriage as more of a commitment. You are committed to be with one another through thick and thin. That is what your vow meant, through thick and thin. Through the valleys and the hills of life. You are meant to be there for one another. It's more of a commitment. As we go into the third thing I want you to do. If you are also getting married today, or you have been married for a while, I also want you to know one thing, that marriage is about tolerance, is about forgiveness, is about compromise. Those three virtues are very, very important in marriage. As a matter of fact, no marriage can last the distance without compromise, tolerance, and forgiveness. And I want to take the three in this very particular number three. The reality also is that in marriage, there will be days of agony, days of pain, days of sorrow. There will be times as it will seem as if the whole world has come crashing down on you. There will be days of disappointments, betrayals, and frustrations. There will be such days. It is not going to be uhuru all along, all the way. No. There will be days of joy, really. But then there will also be days when you're married, we go through very trying times. I want you to know that. And when such days come, I want you to know that the only way you can surmount such days is if you have what it takes to open up and accommodate the view of one another. That is compromise. Shifting grounds once in a while. Don't be lethargic. Don't stand in one spot and feel that only your own is better or only your ground is better. No. Learn how to open up and make accommodation for the opinions or the values or the principles of your partner. Very, very important. And if there have been an erring or a place where your partner have erred, I want you to know that there is no person that is perfect upon the face of the earth. There's no perfection. Perfection is a virtue that we are all working towards. And I tell you, it is a wonderful work. But you are not perfect yet. And so is also your partner. If he or she has failed you, has betrayed trust in one way or the other, you must have it at the back of your mind that this journey you have embarked on with this very particular person is a journey of a lifetime. So learn how to, to tolerate one another's weakness. Learn how to tolerate one another's errors and mistakes. Learn how to tolerate them. Learn how to, overcome them. Learn how to surmount them and be able to bring forth a better marriage. If you know how to also forgive, what does forgiveness? Forgiveness simply is precarious. Is taking over the pain and allowing your partner to go free, setting your partner free from the error, from whatever he or she has done unto you. You just set him free for your own freedom. If you know how to do that, I can tell you that your marriage will last a lifetime. So stop all these gossipings and complaining about your spouse, what he has done or what he has not done, and stop all these and then focus on tolerating one another. Focus on giving room for one another's opinions and suggestions. Focus on that and you will have a wonderful union ahead of you. If you are yet to subscribe to this very particular channel, please do so immediately. There's a red button by my side here, just right here. Please click on it and get subscribed immediately as we go to the fourth lesson which you must learn. The fourth thing in marriage is about communication. Your capacity to always speak to one another with kind words, edifying words, sanctifying words, words that enrich the human spirit. You must know that your spouse is the most important person in your life. Therefore, when you communicate with him or her, do it with honor, with respect. Don't use acerbic words. Don't use gutter language. Don't use the kind of expression that will demean his or her spirit. It is out of place. Because no matter whatever happened, whether for good or bad, that person is a partner unto you in the walk of life. Therefore, you must carry one another along with respect, with honor, with dignity, even in your communication. Communicate with love and in love. Communicate as those who have been chosen by God out of many people upon the face of the earth to partner together to work out the details of their life with one another. It's very, very important. Communication is very important in marriage. How you communicate with one another will, it will determine the atmosphere of your home. It will determine the joy of your home. It will determine the joy of your marriage. How you communicate with one another. It will tell a whole lot of stories that is beyond words. How you communicate with one another. It will tell a stranger out there that this is a couple that is that is ready to succeed in marriage. This is a couple that is willing to give all it takes to make their marriage joyful. So the capacity to communicate well is very, very important in marriage. I don't want you to demean that. Don't learn gutter language from the outside and bring it to your home. No. From now henceforth, if you have been using acerbic language in your own personal life, from now henceforth you must change that. You must speak with one another with respect, with joy, with dignity as the years go by. It's very, very important in marriage. As a young couple, I want you to know that. As an old couple, I want you to take that to heart, even as you run the phase of your life. In this very fifth point that I want to raise, I will be speaking to the two sides of the coin. And what do I mean by that? I will speak first of all to the woman in marriage. As a woman going into marriage today, I want you to know from the bottom of your heart that you are in this marriage to accept your man as God's perfect choice for you. Accept him as God's perfect choice for you. Whether he's tall or short, whether he's educated or whatever, whether he's spiritually high or low, he is God's perfect choice for you. You are in that marriage to make him better than you met him. It's very, very important. I want you to know that as a woman. I also want you to know as a woman that you are there, of course, to submit wholeheartedly to him, no matter who he is, no matter his shortcomings. You must learn to submit entirely to him. Submission is a place of lifting for a woman in marriage. You must do that from the bottom of your heart. You must not do that deceptively. You must not do that as a way to just fulfill righteousness. No, you must do that from the bottom of your heart. Learn to submit wholeheartedly, totally to his instructions, to his things, to his ways, to whatever he desires you to do in marriage. Learn how to submit to him. And if there is any way or anything he is doing that you don't like, and he desires you to continually do that for him, please communicate to him in love. Don't fight over it. Communicate to him in love. Learn how to speak your mind in a loving fashion, with passion, with joy. And of course, while you are still honoring him by doing what he desires you to do, as you communicate to him in kindness, that kindness will also speak for you. And before you know it, he will change and begin to say things your way. Very, very important indeed. As a woman also, you need to also know how to take care of the kitchen. If you don't know how to cook, please learn how to do so. Don't allow your housemates, don't allow your servants in the house to prepare his meals for him. Learn how to be the woman that prepares his meal, that brings his meal to the table. It's a sign of honor, it's a sign of respect unto him. And before I even go, respect is very, very important to the man. That's the highest thing you can give to a man is respect. If you fail to give it to him, there's no other investment in the marriage that is worth the while. So as a woman in marriage, always honor and respect him. Respect his principles, respect his vows, respect some of the things he holds so sacrosanct. Learn how to respect them. And honestly, joy will become the testimony of your marriage. I can tell you that. And of course, as a man, I also want to speak to the men. As a man, I want you to love that woman with all your heart, because she had made a choice that is so huge, you can't imagine it. Leaving her parents, leaving the terrain, leaving all the things she loved and knew, leaving even all the men that were always on her, that desired her, putting them all aside and deciding to settle with you for a lifetime. I think that is an investment that it cannot be quantified by monetary value. It is an investment that is more than any other kind of investment, because she has deeded her life to you. So learn how to treasure her with all your heart. And finally, I must tell both of you that is getting married today, or who have been married in the past week or in the past month, I must let you know that marriage is never an easy terrain. But with God, all things are possible. Rely on God. Open up to him. Develop your spiritual life. There are fights that are taken to the spiritual realm. I spoke to a woman some time ago who came to me, and she said to me, "Daddy, my husband is doing this, my husband is doing that, he's following after other women, he's doing all manner of things. I want to walk away from the marriage." And I asked her one simple question: "When did you last pray for him?" She said, "No, I have not been doing that for a very long time." Say, you must be there and become a spiritual warrior for your husband, a spiritual warrior for your spouse. There is a success you achieve when you are a man or a woman of the spirit. And from now henceforth, as you go into the marriage, I want you to know that the one that brought you together is the one that has answers to all your problems, to all your questions. Is the one who has the answer. Is God Almighty. Learn how to take your matter to him instead of taking your matter to the streets. A word to the wise is more than enough. I thank you very much for actually giving time to this production, despite all the noise at the background. But I believe, God, you have had more than enough that will make your marital journey a success. Please, before you go, click on that red button, get subscribed. Let's do this together next week. Have a wonderful time.